If Bunny Girl Senpai continues on the path that it's currently heading in, I could easily see this becoming my anime of the season, or at the very least, one of my top anime from this current season. I absolutely adore the dynamic that is Sakuta as well as Mai. The two's relationship is so damn mesmerizing. It's probably one of my favorite character interactions that I've seen in a rom-com in so long. My favorite anime of all time is Toradora, and I love the overall dynamic that puts the two characters together because each of them likes the other's best friend, and that's why they are together for so long, because they're trying to get the other with their best friend. It's a great story hook to get them together and to get to know one another, and I feel like we have just as strong of a dynamic with Mai and Sakuta, because Sakuta, for whatever reason, is one of the few who can currently see Mai who isn't forgetting her existence as we watch the world around her, even her mother, forget who she is, and just the shattering realization that she could fade away from everyone's memories and essentially not exist despite living. That's an amazing story hook to show why these characters are going to be together and why they would obviously grow together on an emotional level, and clearly will probably end up in a relationship either by the end of the show or by the end of the story, if not in the early stages. I love these two's relationship because it doesn't feel so damn stereotypical. Often you either have the overly sexualized and overly horny characters, or you have those characters who just can't talk to a woman, or you can't talk to the guy. It's constantly that, but here we have two characters who are very playful. They do make sexual comments towards each other. They do have these moments that are something that you naturally would think someone of their age would joke around about, but at the same time, they're not so overly cringy. They actually feel human. They talk to one another. They joke. They have these conversations that are actually funny and actually feel human. You don't need to go overly anime to make your characters very interesting. Actually going fairly normal and very believable. These characters feel absolutely human, and the way they talk to one another, the way they grow in this episode. Episode 2's characterization is absolutely phenomenal. Some stuff I didn't think we would see for a couple of episodes. The way these two are naturally coming together, because of course, if everyone around her is not seeing her, and there's this guy who she may not know at first why is he trying to help her, and then as he opens up, he's saying like, well, who would, not take a shot at hanging out with a beautiful girl like you, but then opens up like, hey, I know what it's like to have no one believe you about what you're going through, and I want to be that person for you to help you out. And I think it's such a beautiful relationship. There's so much comedy, there's so much charm, but there's a lot of heartwarming moments scattered throughout this episode. Like how eventually, they go on this date. Of course, it's not a date, but she ultimately admits it's a date. It really is. It's a date of just showing her the town that she never really got to experience. And when you see that revelation that her mother only came to meet up with her because she thought Sakuta was the one who invited her. She doesn't even remember her daughter's existence. Just the overall shattering and pain you could feel from the emotion and the trembling in Mai's voice actress was so damn spot on, and how Sakuta just wasn't giving up. He's like, let's go to another town. Let's show, there's got to be other people who can remember you. But it seems like no one can except the people going through this adolescence syndrome, which now Crunchyroll is subtitling it as adolescence syndrome instead of puberty syndrome, so we'll call it adolescence because it sounds better. So I'm curious if they're going to go the direction that the only people who are going to be able to remember Mai are characters around her same age, or characters currently going through similar situations with this adolescence syndrome, because right now, all the adults really don't know who the hell Mai is, and it's pretty heartbreaking. But to have someone on your side like Sakuta, who's generally a good guy, maybe has a bit of perversions, but naturally most guys his age would, but he's definitely a gentleman. Honestly, this guy is a very respectable character. He doesn't make you roll your eyes. He doesn't feel like a scumbag. He actually just feels like someone who's trying to help someone in need, because he knows what it's like to be able to tackle things like this alone, where everyone thinks you're an insane person, and he understands that this is even worse for her because no one can frickin' see her. She can't do anything. And just how they explored this overall date, I thought was really charming. There was a lot of charm in this episode. I love how he's trying to play it cool, being like, hey, let's try holding hands, because then maybe if you can touch things and no one can see it, maybe I can go invisible too. And she's not oblivious. She's like, you just want to hold my hand. He's like, well, yeah, I just want to hold your hand. But she does kind of reward him, like, okay, we'll lock arms for now. There's a lot of really, teen romance just done right. It feels like this is how naturally two teens would interact in a situation like this. Obviously, it's more superhuman, but I do feel like it's believable and grounded, because these characters talk, they explain their feelings, and they don't hide away being embarrassed or ashamed or being like, oh no, a boy touched me, or oh no, a girl touched me. It feels so damn good. I think, like, I know the manga does have an ending. I think it was like 21 chapters, but the light novels are ongoing, so I'm not sure if it's going to tackle the manga version or if it's going to tackle the light novel version. But I would like to see an ending for this, if not a second season. If they do decide to adapt the full manga instead of the light novel, then I could see this getting a full ending with the 13 episodes we're getting, but this could develop into one of the all-time great rom-coms, in my honest opinion. Like, I do expect Sakuta will probably forget Mai at some point, especially with how that first episode was directed, but I don't think he will totally forget her forever. I think there will be the, oh yeah, I used to know this beautiful girl, so now we can come back and have a relationship. Something like that is how I feel like it's going to go, unless there isn't a way to reverse this. But we don't know everything about this adolescent syndrome just yet, so we'll have to wait and see how that is tackled. But I really do like how it was structured, how Mai really does have this personality. Don't be late or I'm gonna leave if it's after 1 second. Of course, she's not gonna leave. She is gonna wait for Sakuta because really he's the only guy who can see her right now, so she's not gonna lose her only friend right now. And how there's this really charming comedy. You know, Sakuta's just like sees a little kid and she's crying for her mother, so of course he's gonna try to help this kid find her mother, and then in comes probably who's going to be a relevant side character, kicks him right in the ass, and then after realizing that he's not a pedophile, she's like, you can kick me in the ass, and he actually does. Like, there's so many moments that I'm like, he's not actually gonna kick the girl. I was like, no, he kicked the girl, and now they have to deal with the authorities. There's just the charm in the comedy in this show. I just feel like, even though it does have that anime charm to it, they don't overblow it. They really want to make you feel like, yeah, there are these supernatural elements, but at the end of the day, these are real characters. You don't want to think this is an anime character, this is an anime trope. You want to be like, Mai's a person. Sakuta's a person. These characters are people, and this is something that you could easily see happening in anyone's day-to-day life if you were at a school such as this. And I think that's so brilliant. It feels so damn good, and I can't wait to see how some of the other characters are going to react to Mai, because clearly there's at least a couple of Sakuta's friends who do know of her, and I think it is going to relate to people who are currently going through adolescent syndrome, and that's why they know of her, because they're not affected by whatever this curse or syndrome actually is. Directing once again on point, the just visuals and facial expressions are so damn good. This series, I haven't been this excited for a rom-com in a while. I love rom-coms, but usually it's just that genre I like and have fun with, but I'm not gonna write home about. This could be something truly special. The character relationship is so amazing. The just overall fading existence is so tragic. You know it's gonna be bad when eventually Sakuta is probably going to forget Mai, but I do hope it's not gonna stay like that forever. But if they gotta go bittersweet, sometimes bittersweet does end up working. Let me know whatever you thought of episode 2. Are you enjoying the series as much as myself, or is this just not for you? Let me know whatever you're feeling down in the comment section below, and be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me in the future. But until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.